So let's move on to the new album, due for release in September 2016. That's 4 years since the last one. What's taken so long?
I think so. If you discount that, like, it came out 2012, so we were pretty busy that year, 2012, and 2013 was a really busy year for us gig-wise. And we were doing a lot of gigs. You know, we did a lot. I think one of those 2 years we did 70 or 80 gigs in 1 year, which is a lot of gigs. You know, most weekends. And then I think it was 2014 we started recording this album, wasn't it, in the spring? So obviously we've like trying to book the studio near me, and you know. And just the way that he was really busy, the studio was busy, we were quite busy as well. It something seems to drag on, and then obviously the mixing process was just a really long, drawn-out thing. But you know, it has taken a long time. But you know, if you want something great, it's going to take a long time, really.
But also because
in this day and age,
and also because we weren't signed to a label for 6 albums. You know, we also had to get to that realisation that, yeah, we do want to make another record. You know what I mean? We got onto it and, like, yeah, we've got enough songs, yeah, we want to, and yeah, you know, it's like, it's not just automatic that we were going to do it. You know, it's like, well, shall we do it? Yeah. And then I think we had a
list of 30 songs, didn't we?
Yeah, and then we were up in Robin's studio, up in Scotland, and we had a bit of a night there, and we played some of the songs, and we said, yeah, these are going to be good. Yeah, let's do that one. And me and Nigel had a famously drunken day in a studio up in Pershore, where we were dropped off there. We were jettisoned, weren't we? Yeah. Jettisoned for the day, and we just had a sheet of paper and just went through all the songs.
Yeah. And got a list together, and then
the dog song.
Then we got all the band into rehearse, and we went through every song, and we put ones going. Yeah, that's the one for the album. And so we all made that decision, didn't we? That decision was left open. There was lots of songs, but we as a group decided which ones we were going to do. We initially had 11. We dropped one of them just because, I don't know, I didn't feel it. But
I love that one.
But yeah, I mean, it will be good. But you know, it does take a long time. In this day and age, you know, the budgets aren't there from record companies to actually cover. You know, like if you think about the 60s, you know, you were getting... I liked experimental music. I liked people pushing boundaries, like the psychedelic movement, like the electronic krautrock and stuff like that. That's not going to happen anymore. And if you're if you're a band on a small label, you're just going to go into a studio for 10 days, record your songs, mix it and put it out. There's not much room for experimentation. So fortunately, I have a studio where I can experiment with the tapes and stuff like that. So that's the process.
And you actually produced and mixed the album as well.
Yeah, so take the sounds, put it in, listen to everything, learn all those things that I've learned from people like Hugh Jones and Ian Brody, you know, and just the idea that I love music and production, yeah, and just like sort of put it on it and just made it sound better than it was sounding when we came out of the studio.
I think what we can't underestimate though is the influence of Stu in the band, you know, and where Stu initially was a plug-in, an add-on to the three of us, and you know, and he was going to be playing bass with us on tour, and then because he got on with all three of us so well, and we all loved him, and he fitted in so perfectly, you know, suddenly it was like the three, and we sort of jostled out the way just like that, and suddenly he started becoming, and now we're a 4-piece, you know what I mean? And we never would have thought that, you know. Tell me, are you the one? Tell me, are you the one? Tell me, are you
lyrics, it wasn't a concept album, but it kind of ended up that there's been this theme throughout the record of the majority of it is kind of from the perspective of a female, and kind of a lot of the challenges and you know, issues that surround that. I think what was interesting was this album,